Hello, hello. It is Jackie from Pocket of Preschool, and I thought it would be fun tonight or today, depending on when you're watching, if we could make some sensory tables together. So I know you guys love a sensory bin or a sensory table as much as I do, and we are creating a sensory table guide for teachers and educators. And there are some themes that we haven't made a sensory bin for that you've been requesting. So I thought we could make them here together, and then hopefully that'll be out in the next couple weeks. So why do we love, and also these are great to make at home if you are do these with your littles at home, because you don't always have to have a sensory table. You can do them in these plastic bins. Obviously we're gonna make this one together, so it's not done, but you can use these plastic bins that are like under the bed. I actually keep 4 of these at all times in my classroom. I keep 4 sensory bins that's not in the sensory table in my classroom with the lid on, and I keep them underneath the science table because there's like a cloth on it, and I keep them for inside recess to kind of, or to pull out maybe if a friend is having big feelings, or you see a friend who's really doing some sensory seeking behaviors and just needs some sensory input. I kind of have these as kind of like a little stash in the back of the classroom, and I usually keep them, the ones that I keep kind of a little mix of them, like I do like a rice, one of beans and noodles, and then one just like maybe a sand or something. But yeah, so you don't have to do these with any certain theme, but I will show you all of the things that go with these. So the first one we are going to make together is a pasta theme sensory bin. So I have all of it in here. So I thought we could make it together, and I'm going to kind of walk you through my thinking as I make a sensory bin. So the first thing you need in your sensory bin is a filler. So I have these. Also, if you are cleaning out your pantry at home and you notice there's like noodles and things that have gone stale or like are what do you call them? They're expired. Keep those for your sensory bin. That's how I get a lot of my like random noodles. Or you can also, I've done this before, send a note home to your families and say, hey, if you're doing a pantry clean out and you notice you have expired noodles or beans or rice, things that we could use for sensory play, and kind of list them out, families will send them in to you. Again, if they're expired, no one can eat them. Like, why throw them away? Like, let's use them for play. So these are in a baggie because they're expired. So when you have a pasta sensory bin, you need pasta. So I got some penne pasta. And that's going to be maybe 1 more box. I never know how much to use. I kind of like eyeball it. Now, my sensory bins are never like full to the top. I kind of usually just have them like covering the bottom. Now, so this is our pasta. This is a loud sensory bin. Now this is our pasta. Now we need some sauce. So I dyed some macaroni. So I actually used paint to dye this. So I put the pasta in a Ziploc bag, added paint, a couple drops of alcohol, and shake, and then you let it dry. And now this is our sauce, like our pasta sauce. Okay, so we have our pasta and our pasta sauce. Okay, so it's all mixed up. Like how much fun does this look? Now, you could also use this for like if you're doing pizza, or you have like a pizzeria, or you have a restaurant in your pretend area, or maybe you're doing community helpers. This would be a fun bin for that. So we got our pasta, which again, and our sauce, which is just some macaroni noodles. So we also need, pasta needs meatballs. And I always like to have like tiny treasures in my sensory bin. So little things that the students can kind of pick out and grab and kind of collect, because they like to collect little things. Like, you guys, like, how much fun is that? Okay, now what else could we add? So I have a strainer. Now obviously nothing's going to go through the strainer. It's literally just going to be for kind of like looks for them to play with and explore. You need a pot so they can pretend to cook. And then you need some utensils. So I have just some of these utensils. Kind of put them back here so you guys can kind of kind of see them. And again, we have different ones. This is like a little whisk. Now, they will get stuck in there, but look, they'll have to use their little fingers to get them out, which is so much fun. I'll just put those in here. And so also when you have utensils, they have to use different motions. So this is kind of like a ladle, so they'll have to scoop. This one, they'll have to scoop this way. Again, using the wrist, all the different ways is great for building those fine motor muscles. Now, we're not gonna stop here. You have to have Parmesan cheese, right? And this has environmental print on it, and look. Okay, so all I did was cut up some foam and I put it in there. Now I don't, like you can tell, look you guys, I don't have a ton, just a little bit. And then if they dump it all out, then they can put it back in. Well, they'll probably put it in this way, right? So some of them may take off the lid, some of them may not, but they can put it back in this way. Again, great fine motor. Taking lids on and off is a lot of great hand-eye coordination, fine motor, self-help, all the things. So we got some Parmesan cheese, we have our noodles, we have our pasta sauce, we have our meatballs, colander, and we have our pot. Why not add some jars of pasta? So I have this little guy. I have a Pampered Chef can opener, so it's smooth on the top. And look at all that great environmental print and colors. Now, I want a big can too, but I need to eat it first. So this will go in here once I will have to have pasta this week with my family. And then if you wanted to too, if you have any empty oregano bottles, you could put those in there. Again, it would just be for pretend, for them to fill and explore and have a blast with. If you also just have an empty like spice jar, that works too. But look how fun this is. Like they can, again, put some cheese on. You could even, if your sensory table is really big, you could put some bowls in there so they could put the pasta in the bowls. And then look, they can scoop it, they can put it in the pan, they can scoop it and put it in the tomato sauce. Or maybe they're gonna pick out just the red sauce, and maybe they're gonna put that in the can, and then they're gonna dump it in, and then maybe they're gonna stir it. Maybe they're gonna drain their noodles. Maybe they're gonna pick out the meatballs. I mean, so much fun. And I love too having things that are different sizes. So we have a small and a large, or maybe you have a small and like a normal size, so small and medium. Again, just a really, really fun sensory bin. So this one we'll call like a pasta sensory bin or table. Again, a ton of fun. You could use it for like if you're doing like a pizza theme, a pasta theme. What else? Put it in the comments what you would use this pasta for. Community helpers, they could pretend to be the chef. Yeah, tons and tons of themes you could use this for. So that is number one. And I had an extra pot in case you wanted two of them in there. All right, so that's one sensory bin idea. You ready for another one? I know you are. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this one is for an insect theme. So you can guess it's for a bumblebee. It's a bumblebee sensory bin. So also one thing I do is kind of go around the classroom and say, what do I have that I can put in the sensory bin that I already have? I already have these little beehive ice trays. And I had these mini erasers. And then these are the same shape as these. And again, I just kind of see what I already have. So I dyed some black rice and some yellow rice. And then also on my blog, I have all of the sensory like how-to videos. I also have a sensory like how to dye all the different sensory fillers on YouTube. I have a ton of sensory videos. So if you love this one, search sensory and you can find a ton more videos to watch after this one. So we have some yellow rice. And then also this black rice, I think it looks like, again, I just eyeball it. It looks like I made a lot more black rice and I don't want it to overpower. So I'm gonna kind of mix it up and kind of until I get that great mixture, that beautiful mixture I'm looking for. I know, corny, right? Okay, maybe a little bit more. And then also, if I have like the extra black rice that I don't use, all I'll do is I will put it in a baggie, and I actually have like sometimes I'll have extra fillers. I'm gonna put this maybe. I was trying to like put this up so you guys could see it better. Okay, there we go. You can kind of see the inside now. Maybe. Okay, so we have our black and our yellow rice, and then we have our honeycomb little trays. And then I have these hexagon shapes, so that way they can kind of make them in, like, so they can make kind of like a beehive or honeycomb in the table. So this is really great for spatial reasoning, exploring shapes, kind of twisting and turning the shapes to kind of make whatever they want or a new shape. And then I also have these giant pasta, so that way if they wanted to, we'll dump some of those in down here. And then what they can do is, so they could kind of make a honeycomb with the pasta. And do you see how you have to kind of like push it in? So this would be very, very fun for students. And again, it's a lot of problem solving. You can see how they're kind of falling over a little bit. It's a lot of problem solving. Look at this, they're working on their pencil grasp because they have to grab it just like a pencil, working on strengthening those fingers. So it's kind of like a little honeycomb there, and then they could sprinkle it in. So fun. Those would be kind of all over. And you don't need a ton of those. And then I like to have little scoops. And again, I have a ton of measuring scoops that I've just gotten from the Dollar Tree over the years and Walmart, like the Target Dollar Spot. Now, this has 5. You never need this many. I just try and do kind of a mixture. So maybe I'll do like cause this one's so small, it's kind of pointless. So I'll do maybe like a medium, a small, medium, and large is typically what I will try and put in. I do the same thing with measuring scoops. So if I have too much stuff in there, there's no kind of room for them to play. Have you ever had kiddos that move stuff to the corners or sides because they just want to like dig and scoop and play? That means you probably have too much stuff in, but look at how much fun that is. So they can scoop and they can fill it up. Or they could even put these in, each one, whatever they want to do. But look, like so much fun. And then they'll dump it out. Sensory, again, I think we just make it a little bit more complicated. We overthink things. They want simple, easy. They love dumping, they love filling, scooping, and they love little things in it. So our tiny treasure for this one is going to be a bunch of bumblebees. Now, I have a whole bunch of bee mini erasers, but I don't need to use all of them, especially if you want to keep some for maybe like a math activity or something. So now look, we have all of our little bees. We have our pattern blocks. We have these noodles, like a tube noodle. And to dye these, I just use, either use liquid watercolor or like paint. I can't remember which one. Kind of looks the same no matter which one you do. And look, they could even put the bees in the beehive, or maybe they're going to put them on top. Look at this one-to-one correspondence. Look at all of that great fine motor. So much fun. And you could even, if you wanted to, put some tweezers in. I love just throwing the tweezers in at any time. I get these at Amazon or Amazon or Walmart has them sometimes. But these are great because they're hands. They're so cute, but they're really great to pick up with. They're preschoolers and pre-K and kinder can be really successful with these. So these are my favorite tweezer. Again, I have it I just bought like a rainbow pack. So we have those. And then look at that really fun bee sensory bin. You could also put some flowers in the corner so they could pretend to pollinate the flowers if you wanted. If not, you don't have to, but look how fun that is. Like so fun. And again, tons and tons of fine motor, tons of problem solving, tons of math. And when they're at the sensory table talking with their friends, they're talking with each other, right? Or they're listening. So they're building listening skills and they're building tons of oral language skills as they talk with their friends. So this one is, you could do it for bee theme. You could do it for spring. You could do it for summer. If you're doing plants. If you're doing insects. All right, here's another one. It's kind of yellow too. Oh my gosh. So this one is a popcorn bin. So this is just a bin. Let me see if I can put this underneath so you guys can see. Maybe. There we go. All right, so we have a bin of popcorn. These are just like popcorn kernels. And these feel amazing. Again, it's a different feeling than the rice, and it's a different feeling than the beans or pasta. It's smooth and bumpy. Oh, just amazing. Okay, so I know we all see these at, oh, this one's broken. That's great. It's probably because I stacked these on the ground. I'll have to get another one. But these are the Dollar Tree. So I have some popcorn containers. And then I also, I got this one, honestly, as like a student gift. You know how parents will give you, or families will give you end of the year gifts. I got this one. So if you have different popcorn buckets that are different shapes or sizes, put those in there. Because we have like, I'm like a tall, maybe a small, maybe that would be like your medium or your large. And then we need, since I only have the two sizes, I was like, oh, I could put these little cups in here. Or you could also do these little, if you don't like have these, I feel like we all put these in the sensory table a lot. So you could put little silicone cupcake molds. Those are really fun. And then you need scoops. And the Dollar Tree always has these scoops. Again, they're small, medium, and large. So we are exploring sizes. And I have these. They're just, I want to say these are learning resources, but they have to squeeze them to open them. So if squeeze to open, and then I feel let go. So fun. And I look and see what I have that matches the color of my sensory bin. These are yellow. They're perfect. Okay. And then if you don't have those, you could use tweezers, or you could also, I love putting in spoons. A lot of our friends in our classrooms don't know how to use, or they're learning how to use silverware and utensils. So putting spoons in the sensory table is perfect because they're learning. Sometimes it's hard, even as an adult, isn't it? To like scoop the food onto your spoon without like scooting it off the plate or something. So again, we're doing some self-help skills. So we got our spoons. And these I usually get at like, there's like a variety color pack at like the Dollar Tree or Walmart, and I just grab them there. And then you have to pop some more popcorn. So look, I just grabbed some yellow pom-poms. So I have big, I have medium, I have small, some are sparkly, like so much fun. Like, can't you just see your little friend just having a bowl with your popcorn sensory bin? We have, again, lots of different sizes. They are scooping and filling. They will just have an absolute blast. Maybe they'll pick out all of these and put them in the little cups. Different kids will do different things with them, and that's okay. It's perfect. It's exactly what we want. We want kids to think differently and to explore different ways, because even though one kid is playing with a material one way and another kid is using it a different way, those kids are still observing each other and see what each other are doing, and they're talking with each other. So again, lots of great oral language, lots of math or comparison language in their book, and their as they communicate and talk to each other, kind of about what they're doing or what they're playing. And it's just really, this one is a really, really fun one too. Like, oh, so fun. So what could you use this for? If you're doing, maybe you're doing a movie theater or a theater in your dramatic play, this would be really fun. Like if you're doing a lot of like movies or maybe end of the year, this would be really fun. You could also do, if you're doing like circus, like this could be popcorn, like a popcorn circus. What else could you use this for? Tell me in the comments what theme you would use this popcorn sensory theme for. Or maybe you're doing like a summer camp. This would be really fun for like a summer camp too. But oh my gosh. This corn feels so amazing. Like it's a really great feeling. So popcorn sensory bin. You ready for that? Another one. Okay. Moving on. So this one, talking, I spilled it all over the place, right? You know me, spilling all the things. Okay, so this one is going to be a unicorn rainbow theme because I have unicorn and rainbow mini erasers. I also have some gems, and then I also have some of these beautiful eggs that match. But for this one, we're gonna use, so it's Pluffle. So it's this really amazing, hold on, let me see if I can get you an up close view of this. Hold on. Right. I want you to see how cool it is when it moves. So you can like mold it. See how it kind of like grows and like moves? Okay, so I have purple, and then I have some blue, but look, isn't that so fun? It just kind of like moves, and we have some pink. But do you see it? Like, it doesn't make any noises, although the way it moves, you would think it would make some kind of noise, but like, I'm not moving my hands. So you can like squeeze it. It's like this magic material. And then it grows and kind of moves. Like, it's so much fun. So, and I didn't know how much it would take. And I have a lot of my, almost all of my sensory things that I don't get from the Dollar Tree in my Amazon storefront. So I have this linked there if you want to check it out. But look, can you see it move? Hold on. Like, oh my gosh, you guys. Make like a ball so you can see it. Oh, like it's so cool. Like, I'm not moving my hand. You would think it would be like, make some kind of like crunchy noise or something, but it is so soft. Look. Like, so fun. Okay, so we have our Pluffle. I had 3 more things of it ready, but if you probably had a small sensory table like this, I think 3 of these would be fine. Because again, I think it's not a cheap sensory filler for sure. But 3 would be good. If you had a big sensory table, you might need 6. So I have these unicorn and rainbow mini erasers. I forgot it's hard to see. Hold on again. Ding, ding, ding. There we go. Okay, so I put in some unicorns and some rainbows. And then I thought, since this one's kind of like whimsical and maybe they'll pretend to like make potions, I have some like bowls from the dollar store. So I have this bigger one. I have 2 kind of smaller ones. So you could probably, this sensory bin, if you had a bigger sensory bin, I would probably put both of them in. And then I have, these are probably like a dessert shot glass, but they're plastic, but they're great. And I also love these because the Pluffle, it kind of like moves. So they could like put it in the different containers and smush it and then kind of like watch it grow, and they could see it in there, which is why I like how they're clear. Okay. And then I also, from Easter, I love keeping, grabbing some eggs. So I grab the eggs that are the color of the sensory filler. So I have some purple, I have purple, blue, and pink. And then I have purple, blue, and pink big eggs. The blue one I think fell on the ground. It did. But that's okay. And if you have a bigger sensory table, you could have more. And again, 2 different sizes. I love having things that are different sizes. And then I wanted something else kind of in there that's fun. So I have these gems from the light table. And again, I added pink, purple, and blue because that's kind of the color of the what do you call it? The pluffle. So that way if they wanted to kind of make potions, it'd be so fun. But also they could like hide the gems in there. And the gems, they're not like, they're not pokey. So they could still smash and manipulate the pluffle, but yet there's like little hidden things inside. And when all students, I feel like, love to take eggs and they love to fill them up. And they could put the gems inside or maybe a unicorn on the inside. And they could close it. Again, lots and lots of great fine motor, hand-eye coordination, so many things. And then they could give it to their friend and they could open it and they could like dump it in the bowl. And look, they have to use their fingers to kind of get it out because it's all sticky and squished together. But like, again, super, super simple. It's a lot of things you probably have in your classroom. And again, if you don't have these clear ones, it's totally fine. You can use kind of whatever little bowls or containers you have in your classroom. Maybe you have these from the Dollar Tree. Those work too. You could also put, kind of going with the clear theme, you could put some clear scoops in there. And I just have 2 again from the Dollar Tree. I like to use some that are like different sizes. And then I also have these clear tweezers, again, from the Dollar Tree. I typically use a lot of this clear stuff on my light table. So I kind of took it from over there. But oh my gosh, like so fun. And these little cheap tweezers from the Dollar Tree are really great with the pluffle. I think they usually have them in like silver too. You know, in the fancy part of the Dollar Tree. You know what I'm talking about. So again, super, super simple. So we have a unicorn. Can't even see the unicorns anymore. They're all hiding. So we have like a unicorns and rainbow sensory bin. So that is a really fun one. Okay. And I did also have these buckets out because sometimes I'm like, oh, do I want to put one thing in there or a different thing? So I thought about using these, but then you couldn't see the pluffle move inside these, so I changed my mind and went with the clear containers on those. Now, here's another, oh my gosh, sensory bin idea using pluffle. Oh my gosh, you guys are gonna go crazy for this one. Okay. So this one, I don't know if you can see it, but this is going to be a superhero theme bin. So I have these superheroes. What are they? Spider-Man and Hulk and Iron Man. I don't know what the girl's name is. My kids are a little bit bigger. I don't know what the spider is called. We have Black Panther. I had my kids are boys, so I'm really excited though. They have a girl. They didn't have the girl when my kids were little. I'm very excited about her. Okay, so we have the action figures. And then I wanted to use pluffle. So I have yellow. Oh my gosh, you guys. So fun. Okay, I just have, the tweezers are just under there so you guys can kind of see the sensory bin better. Okay, blue. Red. And then black. And then you get to mix it together. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, so the black has a little bit of glitter in it, which is so much fun. Like, does this not scream like superhero to you? And yes, superhero, if you're thinking that's one of the themes I said I was going to do, it's coming, I promise. So here is the superhero pluffle. So, and again, I'm not moving my hand. Like so, and like squish it. Oh my gosh, you guys, look how much fun is that? Oh my gosh. Can you hear that? And it sounds like it would be sticky. It's not. Okay, so this is our filler. Okay, I literally got it everywhere. It's fine. So, superheroes. What can we put in there? So, I thought superheroes save the city, right? So why not make a city with boxes? So, okay, I took some, these are like pasta boxes, and I spray painted them black, and this is just tape I put on there. So we have our city, because the superheroes, they are gonna save the city. So you could do a couple things. You could literally tape these to the back of the bin, but if my students would probably want them not taped so they could fill them and dump them. And again, like here's the spaghetti box. But it's like the city, so the superheroes can save the city. Oh my gosh, so much fun. Okay, I'm gonna have to take they're falling forward because I have the scoop. Okay, there we go. And then we have our superheroes because they are gonna save the city. Oh my gosh, I love her. She's my favorite. Can you see her? Like so, you guys. Maybe I'll stand them up so you guys can see them. Okay. We have all of our superheroes ready to save the city. Oh my gosh. Oh, Black Panther fell down. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, you guys get it, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have our superheroes, we have our city, we have our sensory stuff. I look and see what I have first. So I have a red scoop. This is, I think these are from Dollar Tree and they were like kitchen utensils. I have a blue, a yellow, and a red because look what they can do. They can fill up the boxes and the Fluffle, it's not messy. So they can fill it up and then they can dump it out. Okay. Kids love scooping and filling. They're exploring capacity. Which one is bigger? Which one is smaller? Which one holds more? If you have any star containers for these are, I think, I want to say I got around 4th of July, but they're perfect for a superhero theme. I didn't have a yellow one. So again, I have a little silicone cup. So you can put that in there too. So they can fill that. Okay, and I didn't put any little things in this one this time. You could put some like little star beads or star mini erasers, or you could also put some like little pom-poms in, like red, blue, and black, and yellow. But oh my gosh, you guys, so cute. Oh, this is my favorite thing. Okay, so I love when students use funnels. But like this sensory filler wouldn't work with a regular funnel. So this is a Gatorade bottle. I cut it and then I covered it with tape. But look. Now they can use it as a funnel. And then we have a bigger one. Okay, so what I would probably do, since the Puffle is getting stuck, I would cut right here. So that way, or maybe I would even cut it right here so the end is bigger for it to go through. Oh, it is working. So fun. So, and then I needed a yellow one. So we have small, medium, and large. And these are just different juice containers, but these are free. So free city. Again, this is just pasta boxes that I used when I got the other pasta. So all you would need to get is the Puffle and the superheroes. And you could probably ask a family too if they have any extra superheroes that you could borrow for this theme. You can also check like Goodwill or whatever like thrift store you have near you. So that way they can, you know, have superheroes. Now, if you don't want to buy Fluffle or like I don't have that in my budget right now, it's totally fine. What you could do is you could use, like, do either beans or rice. So you could do red, yellow, and blue, and black, rice or beans. And then, again, grab scoops that match. If you have any star containers from a 4th of July theme or like America theme, grab those and then make some superhero boxes. Again, pasta box, spray paint it with tape, and look, you can like bury them. Oh my gosh, can you imagine all the language and all the talking to each other? And oh my gosh, it would be so fun. And look, do you see how all of the city is different? And now I put all the windows are different. So we have a tall building, we have a short building, we have one that is wider, one that is thinner. Again, tons and tons of fun. And you guys, they will go bananas for this one. And again, if you don't want to use the puffle, totally fine. You could use rice. Oh my gosh. So, and the superhero theme centers will be coming out soon, I promise. Okay. All right. Hold on, I gotta get the pluff. See? It cleans up pretty easy too. So fun. Okay. All right, so I know Easter is around the corner, and I do have some Easter sensory bins on the blog. I do have an Easter theme YouTube video too, so if you want to watch that one, search that and you can watch that one next. But I've been getting a lot of requests for some Catholic sensory tables. So you're gonna love this one. But if you want a regular Easter sensory bin, I have those on my blog, so you can check those out. Or I'm gonna tell you how to tweak this one if you don't want to make it like a religious sensory bin. So the inspiration for this whole sensory bin are these mini erasers. So there were other colors in it, but I picked just these out. And then I dyed macaroni noodles to match. So I have pink, and I have teal and green. Because the mini erasers are pink, teal, and green. That. Okay. And again, if you don't want to make this religious, just grab regular non-religious mini eraser, Easter mini erasers, and you can do that. So we have our mini erasers, we have our macaroni noodles, and how I dye these is macaroni noodles, a little bit of paint, and the acrylic paint in a baggie with a couple drops of alcohol. Shake, 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 and let it dry. You do have to break them up a little bit because you can kind of see sometimes they stick together, but the kids love to pick them apart too. So that is so fun. Oh, okay, and then I have these like little crafts. So I have these you could put in there so they could fill them up. You could also put like the color ribbon or like tape this on there. So that way they would have to put those in there, right? Or they could just scoop and fill too. That works too. But these are just from the Dollar Tree. And I usually don't tape these in or anything because they like to fill them and they like to dump them. So they'll fill these up and then maybe they'll dump them. They'll probably have to work together as a team if they want to fill one all the way to the top. Okay, and then we need some scoops. And again, I look and see what I have. So I have these measuring scoops that are pink, which are the perfect color. Again, 4, I typically think too many. So I usually do 3. So I'll do a small, a medium, and large. Okay, and then I like to have some little scoops. And again, I look in my cabinet and see what I have. I found these green ones. And I'll do a small, medium, and large on that. Okay, and then tweezers. Gotta have some tweezers. So you can put them like that, right? So that way they can grab the pink ones and put them in, or maybe grab whatever one and put it in. And again, these are just from Amazon. And then I also, if you can't find these little mini erasers, I did find these like cross beads. These would be really fun to put in there if you can't find these. I got these off Amazon. But again, any kind of religious little mini eraser, religious Easter mini eraser will work for this. But it's so cute. And again, if you don't want to make it a religious sensory bin, just grab any Easter sensory bin or Easter mini eraser. And then, you guys, little Jesus. So you can put those in there too. Like the cutest thing ever. Like if you have Sunday school. Oh my gosh, you can't see it. Hold on. Like, oh, and then they're so cute. It came with a whole bunch. So you could use them as counters. I just thought they were the best. And like, how perfect are these for little mini religious Easter sensory bin? Oh, so cute. Little guy. Oh my gosh, they fit in the scoops so perfectly. So, oh my gosh, like, so do you love this? Yeah, and again, if you can make it religious by having the Jesus little mini figures and then the little cross mini erasers, or you can just use regular mini erasers and make it a non-religious sensory bin. But so fun. And you guys, if you haven't done a sensory bin with these macaroni noodles, you need to. It's a really fun, they're small, but again, it's different than rice, it's different than corn, it's different than Fluffle. Again, all of these sensory fillers, they're a little bit different. So they're gonna scoop different, they're gonna fill different, they're gonna feel different, they're gonna sound different, the texture is different, all the things. They're so fun. Okay, another fun. I'm getting surrounded, can you tell? Surrounded by sensory bins. Okay. All right. You ready for this one? So this is a train sensory bin. Dump this out over here. Hold on. So you're gonna make it with me. All right. So for this one, I wanted it to look like dirt and grass. So these are noodles. These I use liquid watercolor with. And the only reason why it's moving is because I tilted this so you guys can see it on the video. And again, you don't have to have a ton of noodles. Like this is enough, it's just on the bottom. This looks like Minecraft. Okay, so we have our kind of our ground. Now, trains have wheels, so I have this wheel pasta. Like they're mini wheels. Okay. So we have wheels and dirt and grass. So fun! Like, okay, I think I have just as much as fun as the kids playing in these. So, I have these little tree, little dishes, I guess. I think I got them from like around Christmas time. But they would be fun for the kids to kind of fill up or whatever. And then I have some of this foam. It's textured. So this could be like, I don't know, like water. And then for the trains and train tracks, I took tongue depressors and I made a little track just by drawing. Nothing fancy. Again, it doesn't always have to be crazy fancy. Like it can be super, super simple. Again, just a tongue depressor and I drew tracks on it. Clearly, the lines aren't even straight. That's okay, because I have these little trains. They're like the little Thomas trains, which are perfect for the sensory bin because they're tiny. You could use the big trains, but my guess is if you're doing a train theme or like a transportation, or you're doing Polar Express, or maybe you're doing travel, or maybe you're doing like an around the world, or you're exploring countries or maps, that would be great for this train sensory bin. But if you have the big trains, my guess is these are in the block center. So grab a set of little trains, and they don't have to be the Thomas ones. They can be like the off-brand that you can get on Amazon, like, or maybe you have some in the closet. Sometimes check the party section too. Oh my gosh, they're all falling over. Again, I have it tilted. It wouldn't fall over in your classroom. But yeah, like so fun. And then I have these scoopers from like, and again, I kind of see what I haven't used. And if you, any scoopers you have would work. But if you have a noodle sensory bin, grab these because what do they look like? It's the same motion as scissors. So if your kids need to practice scissor skills or their scissor skills are weak, grab some of these scoopers, and they make these like, you can buy these on Amazon. These are from, this specific pair is from Lakeshore. But again, it's really fun because you can see a little scoop up. And I just like these because they're kind of like, the trees kind of resemble the woods, right? And if you're traveling on a train, you might be going through the woods. And again, a train, you don't have to like necessarily a train theme. You could be exploring maps. Maybe you're doing a map unit. Maybe you're doing summer. Maybe you're doing travel. Maybe you're doing Polar Express in December. Maybe you're doing trains, or maybe you have a train station in pretend, which we have that. And there's also a video on our dramatic play train station if you want to watch that. But yeah, like, again, it's just little things. You could also put in, like, if you don't have these, put in a couple. Again, you don't have to put in all of them because I think if it's too full, which is getting close, but like 4, you don't need 4, probably 3. Or, and you can also too, like, stack them like this and put them in the corner. So that way they're kind of out of the way if you have a lot in there. Because if the kids are putting stuff in the corner and they're just kind of like exploring the sensory material, that's okay too. But isn't this a really fun sensory bin for, especially if we always have kiddos who love trains. Especially if you have a kiddo, maybe you have a kiddo who loves unicorns, who loves trains, loves superheroes, loves popcorn. Take this sensory bin that they love, put it in a bin, put a lid on it, and put it underneath in your classroom somewhere, and maybe just get this out for them as a reward, or if they have an like first then, or some kind of board like that, or maybe this is like, again, a reward. Keep this out for indoor recess, because if you have a kid who really has a high interest item and it's trains or unicorns or superheroes or bees or pasta, whatever it is, make it into a little sensory bin, keep it like this, put a lid on it, and so you can have it in the classroom. If you wanted to too, you could always make any of these sensory bins into a mini one by taking a pencil box. You could put one of these in there, a couple of these in there, cut these smaller, put a couple trains in there, and maybe some little, instead of these big scoops, maybe like a measuring scoop, and they could have these, like little mini individualized sensory bin as they could use as a reward. And that would work for any of these, not just this one. So you love the trains sensory bin. Okay, I have a couple more. So if we have a train one, maybe you need planes. So maybe you're doing transportation, or maybe you want to do it for summer or weather. So I have figured out that it works better if we do it this way. Okay, put that up here. There we go. All right, so for this one, I'm using this pasta again. So I have some that are dark blue. I have some that are kind of like a sky blue. And I dyed another box that's kind of a light blue. And this I used paint. So fun. And again, if you use paint, it does stick together a little bit, but look. You just break it apart. So this is our filler. And then this one's gonna be plain. So I have these little cups that are kind of transparent, and then I have little ones. Again, I like having things that are different sizes. So we have some small ones and some big ones. And they can also use these to fill these up. Okay. And then, oh, if you have planes, you need a runway. So I took some of that foam, and we have our runway. I have an extra one. So we have our runway where the planes can land. And then I have this set of planes that might be better, but I also have this set from Amazon. So maybe I'll just put some of these in there. And they can take off and explore. We also have a helicopter. Oh, and you can't have planes without having clouds in the sky. And again, this is like our little tiny treasure, so they may grab all of these and put them in the little... And they're all different sizes. And I have some sparkly ones in there and some non-sparklies in there. Again, just all different textures. And then I want some tweezers in there, so they have those that they can use. And we have a really... And then we have a really fun planes sensory bin. So what things can we use this for? So maybe going into summer, if you're doing travel, if you're learning about places around the world, if you're doing maps, if you're doing transportation, if you have a class that really loves and is excited or has an interest in planes, this is great too. And your scoops they don't always have to be like a spoon or anything. Like this can be your scoop. They're the little clear mini glasses from the Dollar Tree. And I typically use these on my light table. Again, I'm going to use what we got as much as I possibly can. And if you don't have these blue ones, you could put in, like, if you have any blue bowls or blue cups in your classroom, check your Dramatic Play Center for some blue cups and bowls, and you could put those in there. You could also put, again, if you have these from the Dollar Tree, those work too. If you have buckets, again, just something for them to scoop and fill. So fun. And then we have an imaginative play piece to that as well. And I never like tape these down, so that way if they want to move them, they can. Maybe they're going to put them along the side, and they're going to put them up here. Maybe they're going to put them on the edge of the sensory table, or maybe they're going to put them on the ends. I kind of leave them. I never really tape anything down, so that way they can explore and they can make it their own play space. And I have an extra one. So yeah, and then again, these are just foam that this is like tempera, those tempera paint pens that I did that with. There are those. I have one more sensory bin for you. So this is a Western theme, or cowgirl theme. And do you see how fun it looks? Can you see I'm starting to work on the new theme sets that I have all the sensory bins for them ready to go. So we haven't used this one before. So this is cornmeal. It's kind of like sand. And it doesn't really stick to your hands. It has the feeling of sand, but it's a little bit grainier than sand. Okay. This one. And you guys, it just feels, it's so relaxing. It does make a little bit of dust. They will have to kind of brush their hands off a little bit. So, I used 3 bags. I'm going to keep this one for another day. Now, wagon wheels, I was thinking. So I got some, these are the large wheel pasta. So I was going to throw some of these in there. Again, I'm going to eyeball it. You could also keep some of these for counters for your theme. So I'm going to put those to the side. Maybe we'll use those as for counters. And as they play, you won't be able to see them all as well. They'll kind of be like hidden in the sand. And then I also wanted to put in some rocks. So we have some rocks and some wheels. And then I have this cactus tray. And then I have these cowboy hats or cowgirl hats. And then they need lassos. So I just literally knotted up some rope pieces. It's nothing fancy. I literally made a knot and then a knot and then a knot. And then I have these little cactus counters. They're like the math cactus counters. Look how cute they are. They're so cute. They're so fun. Okay, but what can they do? So they can put them in there. They could put the wagon wheels in there. They could put the cactus in there. Dump it out. They could also fill up the, where did my little spoons go? Where did they go? I can't, oh, here they are. I use them for the bee. The bee thing. So I'd have some little scoops. So that way they could scoop up the sand. Well, they would call it sand even though it's cornmeal. And they could fill up the little cactuses. And then they could dump it out. Again, so fun. So simple. These are usually at the Dollar Tree. But how, oh, I have horses. Oh, I didn't open this yet. Kind of like a Wild Wild West almost. Okay, let me get these open, you guys. I had everything else open before I went live and I forgot. Okay. All right, so now we have some horses. So maybe I wouldn't put as many, like reflecting on this, there's probably too many wagon wheels. So I would probably take some of those out. Just a little bit too many. And you know what? Sometimes that happens, right? You're like, oh, that's too many. It's really like overwhelming. They can't get to the sand, or what we're going to call is sand, right? So I'd probably take some of these out. Yeah, that looks better. Don't you think? Tell me, what do you think? Do you think you like a lot of wagon wheels or less wagon wheels? And then we could have, because if you have too many wagon wheels, I feel like you can't see the horses in the cactus. Or maybe I just need bigger horses. These are the ones I have. So these are the ones that we'll have to use. So we have some horses, we have some cowboy hats, we have some little cactus, we have a little cactus tray, we have little ropes. And again, they can scoop, they can fill it up. And you know they're gonna like scrape it and just have an absolute blast. Maybe they're gonna put the wagon wheels in there, maybe they're gonna put the rock in, and maybe they're gonna hide it. Like, so fun. We have little cowboy hats. So fun. So that's our cowboy theme. And if you wanted to too, you could put some tweezers in if you wanted. So that way they can pick them up. How fun. Okay, so this is like a cowboy, cowgirl, Wild Wild West theme. So So that was a lot of sensory bins. So if you want to see more sensory bins, there's a ton of videos on sensory bins, how to make sensory bin fillers, like how to dye them. Like if you want to know how to dye rice or dye the noodles or any of that, you can watch videos on that. I also have like a sensory bin videos on like holiday sensory bins. There's one on fall sensory bins. I think there's one on spring sensory bins. There's one on just general sensory bins. There's some on water sensory bins. So if you want to watch more videos on sensory bins, you can. Those are there for you. You can always search the blog. The links are where the links are, or you can watch the videos too. So I hope you guys loved all these sensory bins. We have some new themes coming out for you very soon to match some of these sensory bins. So be on the lookout for those. And as we release new themes, we will do videos on each theme as well. So that way you have ideas for math and literacy and science and blocks and sensory and fine motor math for all of the new themes. So be on the lookout for those. Remember, it's, yeah. Oh, and don't forget to follow the channel. Duh, silly me. Follow the channel so you can follow along and see all the videos. I hope you guys have an amazing day or night, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye.